This is the User Adoption Podcast with your host, Henrik de Gyor.
Who are you and what do you do?
Well, my name is Rob Gilfoyle. I'm the president of Digital Evolution Canada. And basically what we do is we help small and medium-sized businesses to make the changes they need to get the most from digital technology. Now, part of that includes user adoption.
How are you involved with user adoption, Robert?
Well, I see it as a pretty important piece of the digital transformation puzzle. If we're, as a society, moving to a place now where digital technology seems to be basically taking over, certainly in the workplace, the amount of investment in it is really increasing. We need to get the most from it, and that's what user adoption is all about. Why spend thousands of dollars on an ongoing basis on a customer relationship management piece of software if only 50% of the people are using it to its fullest extent? I think it's really important that people understand how to increase user adoption rates. And that's what I'm involved in. I'm helping people to get to the point where they can get more value from their software.
Robert, what are the biggest challenges and successes with user adoption?
It's a strange one, actually. I've been working on user adoption now for about 2 years. And what I've discovered is some people immediately see the value in people being more engaged with their software and using it more and getting more functionality out of it. Some people see that immediately and are interested in doing whatever it takes to make that happen. But a lot of people aren't. The big challenge is that there's a feeling, which is largely unspoken, which is that, hey, we buy software. We all know install software. We also know that sometimes we don't use it fully. In fact, sometimes we don't use it at all. So there is this sort of pervasive belief that, you shouldn't be striving to get a maximum value from your software. It's almost like there's a feeling that, hey, maybe this software will work, maybe it won't. And if it doesn't, so what? We'll just move on to the next stuff. So that's the challenge. The challenge is to get people to sort of focus on the value of user adoption. Now, if you look at the other side of your question, what are the successes? Then I would say if you can get people to see how the software fits in with the work that they're doing, how it drives the success of their business, and get them to really become enthusiastic and drive the value out of it, that's a huge success. And it actually goes to the bottom line, for sure, but also people are much more engaged in their work if they're engaged with the tools that they use.
Robert, what advice would you like to share with people working on improving user adoption?
Here's the thing I've discovered, we're human beings, we're sort of idiosyncratic, we're all different. But at the end of the day, if somebody is asking you to change the way you work, which by definition is what happens when new software is introduced into a workplace, you have to have a really compelling reason as to why they should want to do that. I did a big project with a very well-known auto retailer. Their salespeople were not using a truly fabulous customer relationship management system, totally customized to their needs, etc. And when you ask the salespeople about that, usually the reason why they were shunning it was because they didn't really understand what it was for or how it fitted in with what they were doing overall in the company, or how it fitted with the way that they go about selling cars. And there was just a huge deficit in terms of explaining why this CRM system was actually going to be good for everybody, the customer, company, the salespeople. And I would say the number one thing I've learned is that take extra special care to have a really good rationale for the software that you can defend. And think about what advantages it's going to bring, not just to the customer and the company, but definitely to the people who are going to use it. That's a hot tip from me.
Where can we find more information about user adoption and your work on the subject?
Well, what I'd recommend is if you do a Google search on user adoption, the good stuff normally goes to the top of the page. And there's been very interesting research done on this. And funnily enough, from a business case point of view, the case for trying to increase user adoption is really rock solid. So I would recommend, looking at some business cases about user adoption and the benefits of. I'm going to make a plug at this point, Henrik. I put together a website and I've got lots of blogs on it, and I try to make them extremely practical, really good hands-on stuff that a leader in a small or medium-sized company or even a larger one can actually use. So I would recommend that you check out www.useradoptionsolutions.com. Now, User Adoption Solutions is obviously all one word. When you get to the website, mosey around, take a look, click wherever you want to, but I would recommend you click on the blog tab because it's full of practical how to do this, followed by this advice. And all of it will increase your user adoption rates and will lead to people in your organization becoming even more engaged in their work. And I think we'd all agree that's a good thing.
Well, thanks, Robert.
You're welcome.
For more on this, visit useradoptionpodcast.com. Don't forget to please subscribe, rate, and review. And for a book about this, check out useradoptionbook.com. Tune in next week for the next episode. Thanks for listening.